It was 3:59 p.m. on Tuesday at Bear Circle Credit Union. Finally, we were closing our lobby doors before we make it back to the counter. Three sketchy rats burst through the door. Confused, thinking out loud, did I lock the front door? I made eye contact with one of them that had an account that I did a transaction for a while back. At the time, I placed a flag on his account for suspicious activity. At the moment we all made eye contact, the main suspect named Philip saluted me. At this moment, my heart starts shivering, like a child after a beating. On the corner of my eye, I see my colleague Pedro walking towards them to assist. This man was so quick that I saw smoke coming out of his shoes by half past he was walking. We closed our doors. I'm with Barbs, Duarte, Pedro, and Flash. I finished my shift, so I punched out of the clock. Mind you, all of us are crowded behind the counter in our giant fishbowl-like glass barrier. I made the decision to stay behind until these sketchy people leave the building. I told Barbs and Duarte to go home. I got this. I walked them to the front door in order to take a better look at these people through the glass door of the office they were in. The moment we locked eyes, they looked back at us with such a glare, and in my mind, the glass shattered. Afterwards, one of them, tattooed, stick figure, I'm telling you, he was so skinny, made a string look obese. He walked out of the office towards the front door and unlocked the trigger lock. So I walked behind him and locked it back up, went to it, telling myself he ain't coming back in. I hear a thump on the front door. I dash to the door and it's Skinny Boy. And after the third or fourth time coming back in, I let him know this is not a quickie mart, you're in or you're out. If this reoccurs, I'll have to tell you to wait outside. While we were exchanging words, I felt awkward that all the hairs on the back of my neck stood up like a school of garden eels. He apologized and replied, not coming back inside. At this time, the individual is not even making any eye contact with me, hiding under his baseball cap. Later, I hear from the distance a car driving towards the building, and I hear a thrash against the door frame, but failed miserably because they were impact resistant. The driver stumbled out of the vehicle, reaching to his back holster and pulling out a Ruger Red Hawk double-action revolver and pulled the trigger. I tell Flash and Mindy to run. She was slamming those stilettos, but not fast enough to reach the door. My colleague Flash comes right behind her, swish her off the floor, and ran to the emergency exit. I hear the other three come out of the office. Moments later, I hear Philip directing his crew to get the staff. I quickly got on the floor, crawling to the light switches. The bank got dark after. I stacked up the heavy boxes of paper against the door to give myself time to build a master plan with the situation. I started getting in every lane under the counter to call the police. I instantly remembered that Flash, Mindy, and Pedro did not have time to lock their drawers. So I decided to pull each of their bait money. While I was doing this, they never saw me. When I found a spot to hide, I gripped my bronze, spiked Roman helmet hanging off my necklace, hoping for the best. I was waiting for them to burst through that door. I hear each of them trying to knock the door down and trying to hack the pin pad to get in. And the Skinny Boy was so smart enough, he shot the pin pad. So Philip instantly hit this boy on the back of his head with the butt of his gun and knocked him out. The only girl in their crew, let's just call her Kirby, grabbed Skinny Boy and lay him on a chair nearby. The phone rings and I didn't think about it and I dash to the phone. Philip sees me and yells, "No!" He attempted to shoot at me through the thick glass of my fishbowl, but ricocheted. The bullet hit Kirby, and she says,
"You shot me, bitch."
Philip didn't reply to her and demanded me to put the phone down. I did as I was told, but I placed the call on speaker. He told me to come out to the lobby. He was aiming his gun at me the whole time. Looking into the deep and dark barrel of the pistol was like looking into a dark cave with a hollow point bullet waiting for me inside, saying,
"Hello, how are you? I will kill you today."
Something kicks inside me. Courage, I said to myself. Hell nah, not today, bitch. Come at me, broski. The last moment I walked out of that fishbowl, I felt my heart pump, my veins and arterial tubes and my bronch tubes moving in slow motion. My sweat was going like a sprinkler on a hot summer day in Miami. When I was face to face with my killer, I saw Flash hiding in the corner of my boss's office with a Glock 18. He was signaling me to stay calm and quiet. Kirby asked me,
"Are you scared?"
Then Philip's gun was placed on my head, and he didn't even let me answer her question. He asked me, "Where are the millions? Get us to them." I chuckled and replied, "What millions? This is a credit union, not a huge bank." He responded,
"My bad."
Before he decided to pull that trigger, hundreds of Bear Circle County cops surrounded the building. The next thing I see is a huge SWAT team truck drive through our bank entrance. The gun goes off. The hollow point of that bullet bounces off my Roman helmet hanging off my chest and hits Kirby right between his eyes, and she fell back on the ground. Bullets go off like sparklers on July 4th. One bullet goes through Philip's shoulder, and I can see the shock on his face as he stumbles back, clutching the wound. Flash stormed down the lobby, crawling under the truck, and aimed and shot Skinny Boy in the face, blowing his brains like a pumpkin on Halloween night. Flash aims for Philip and the SWAT team storms in the building coming out of their truck. There's an exchange of bullets and Philip looked like Swiss cheese. Flash was shot in his right leg. Meanwhile, I was laying on the ground feeling my hot helmet hanging off my chest, burning me like bacon off the stove. Pedro and Mindy crouched in silence, their hearts racing as they huddled together under the old sedan, sounds of chaos echoing around them. As the distant shouts and sirens filled the air, Pedro glanced at Mindy, his expression a mix of concern and reassurance. The tension in the air was palpable, each sound causing them to flinch as they remained hidden in their cramped refuge. Suddenly, a loud crash echoed nearby, prompting them to instinctively hold their breath, their bodies frozen in place. In that moment of uncertainty, Pedro whispered softly,
"Shh, we need to stay quiet until the coast is clear."
After the coast was clear, Pedro crawled out from underneath the car, his heart racing with relief and anticipation. Pedro extended his hand to Mindy, helping her to her feet as the weight of unspoken feelings hung in the air. As she steadied herself, the sun peeked through the trees, illuminating the moment with a soft glow that felt almost magical. With a deep breath, Pedro finally gathered the courage to reveal the truth that had been buried inside him for far too long. "I've felt something special for you, Mindy, ever since we met," he confessed, his voice trembling slightly with the weight of his honesty.
From the moment I first laid eyes on you at the bank, a powerful connection sparked between us that I have never felt before. Every smile you shared made my heart race and ignited a feeling of strength I didn't know I possessed. With every fleeting moment we spent together, that strength grew, and I knew I had to let you know just how much you mean to me.